Flack. I studied here after graduating from Yale and wanting to learn how to draw, because Albers did not believe in it. And he was into the square. So I studied with Robert Beverly Hale, and I knew Will here, but I knew Will from Cooper Union back, I don't want to tell you, 1948. First I want to, hi, Elena, beautiful Elena, and family. But it's so fitting that this memorial is being held at the League, because the Art Students League represents a kind of humanism. It's very accepting. It accepts everybody. And that's wonderful. It's a home. You're filled with a love of art. You can learn techniques. And techniques are taught and respected, and all of these are attributes of St. Will, the most loved and venerated artist that I know. I was a student at Cooper in 1948 to 1951 when Will was there. He called me Audrey. Hey, Audrey. I want to try to contextualize him a bit. I thought about it this morning. I was 17, 18, 19. Will was 37, 38, 39. I thought they were all old men then. But it was a very thrilling, very exciting time, because abstract expressionism was just surging. Everything was happening downtown. Will was 37, 38, 39. Pollock, Will was born in 1911. Jackson Pollock was born in 1912. So Pollock was 1 year older. Klein was born in 1910. No, Pollock was 1 year younger. Klein was 1 year older, Franz Klein. So these were all Will's cohorts, and we were all in the same neighborhood. They all seemed to come to New York at around the same time. What happens? Pollock dies when he's 44 years old. Klein dies when he's 52 years old. And Billy Kunin goes on and lives, but, loses a lot of it. So that's another matter. And Will stayed with us. Will stayed with us. So I want to contextualize him in terms of what he was doing at the time of whatever was happening. So in the 30s, Will was 20 years old. He was at the Art Students League and a social realist, as we know, responding to the struggles of ordinary people during the Depression. So was Thomas Hart Benton, who was Pollock's teacher. We get a picture there. In the 40s, he's in his 30s, and he starts to do abstract modernist work. And he becomes a member of this Indian space painters group. They were all at Cooper Union, which is very interesting, and I studied with every one of them. Peter Busa, Steve Wheeler, Will Barnet. Later, Stuart Davis, I studied later with Davis when he was at Yale. But in a way, they were all involved with this two-dimensional design space concept. What became very interesting for me in writing this, and Pollock, if you think of Jackson Pollock's earlier work, he's also interested in some of his black and white paintings in that two-dimensional space painting design thing, and Will was right there. I had a little insight into my work, and you wouldn't think that of my photorealist paintings, but I was influenced by Will and these people. Because of all the photorealist painters, my work is tilted up, and I'm very involved with that two-dimensional design pattern. So that was an interesting thing for me to see. He then goes on and does this poetic, haunting, visionary symbolism paintings that evoke Hopper and Magritte. But he's always a humanist, and I'll tell you one thing about Will that you all know. He was tall, he was handsome, a serious artist, but he didn't drink. And he might have smoked your cigars, Jim, but one thing he wasn't, and that I loved him for that, he wasn't a womanizer. Every single one of those other guys hit on me. Everyone, including the venerable Joseph Albers. So, it was dangerous. It was dangerous, but Will never frightened me. And Will was there, and Will was kind, and Will was generous. And Will was a healthy symbol in a very mixed up art world. So, what can I say? I'll end by saying that Will and Elena were the Obama and Michelle of the art world. Will went to every opening and every show, and you would look around, it was raining, it was sleeting, and I'd say, oh, I don't want to have to go out. There's Will. There's Will. Later on, there's Will in his wheelchair. And it was so wonderful seeing him, He was a solid basis for everything good and meaningful in an art world gone haywire. And the world is a better place because Will was in it. I will miss him dearly, and I know all of you will too.